You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Manounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Castle After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Castle After Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another after show for Castle here at AFTERBUZZ TV. This episode was titled The Way of the Ninja. I'm your host, Paige Sullivan, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tiona Hobson.
And unfortunately, Kate couldn't join us tonight, but she will be back next week.
Yes,
so
she will.
We are excited. She missed out, though. This was a fun episode.
I had a lot of fun watching this episode.
I was like, I kept getting scared and like blown away and like, what? I like didn't know what was happening.
I kept going, there's more ninjas? What?
Like, there's legitimately ninjas, like Death Stars, or actually that's Star Wars. What are those called? Throwing stars.
Yes, throwing stars.
Throwing stars. But so we'll start off, we really only get like a quick shot of this girl who's dead in an alley. And then we cut to Castle and Beckett. She's going to dinner with a friend from high school, and she's all nervous because this woman lives like a fabulous life, apparently. But the part that I loved the best was she was like, I don't want you to meet her because you're totally her type. And I don't want her to like go after you.
I like how she's taking stake in her man. You know, she's like, nope, you don't need to meet her because I
Yeah.
don't need to be fighting with her over my fiance.
Exactly.
And it was a really cute moment. I love when we get to see them banter back and forth. And I felt like it was very playful between them tonight in the episode. So I really enjoyed seeing that.
I know, and I have to say, jumping ahead a little bit, when she found out he was in a room fake making out with like a prostitute or a hostess, she handled it well. I mean, she was like, and I'm just supposed to believe you. Like, I would have been like, wait, I don't care what it was for. You should have sent Esposito in there. He's single.
Yeah, exactly. You know, send the single guy in there. And then I would have been pissed off too because, you know, $6,000 on an undercover mission.
Yeah, no good.
Yeah,
no good.
No good comes from
Nothing at all from this episode really came good. But so we find this girl, her name's Jade. She was a Japanese citizen. She was stabbed with what basically looks like a kind of sword-ish thing, like a knife, that was hurled at her. So that's interesting.
She was not stabbed. Let's make that very clear. She
a knife
was not
was
stabbed.
thrown at her.
It was thrown at her.
Very accurately and killed her. And so she was a dancer at the New York Ballet Conservatory, and they don't really know why she's dead. So she's dressed up in party clothes, and they find like a Dropbox key, or is that what it's called? A drop key for an elevator. I love how they know what everything is. Oh, that's a drop key. I'd be like,
But I also love how they explained it because it felt like in that moment, it was like watching a kid show where, you know, like Dora the Explorer, where it's like, this is the color orange. It's orange because of this. And you just saw, you could clearly see like a drop key. And then you go into the explanation where Castle's, you know, bringing up his knowledge. Is like, oh, they totally did that because of people like me who don't know what that is.
oh, yeah,
Thank you.
exactly. This whole episode, I felt more so than others, Castle was like narrating it for us. Like when the ninjas are like attacking, he's like, there's 2 ninjas attacking each other. Who would have known?
I mean, I could have watched this episode with my eyes closed and really known every detail of what was happening.
Exactly. But so we get little details from the drop key. It's from a place called Marigold Cookies, and they go in there, and it looks like they think it's kind of it's a shrine, but they can't tell if it's like an evil shrine or a good shrine with a knife that looks like the knife that probably killed Jade. But before they can do anything, a legitimate ninja like appears, and I was watching it. I was like, "Wait, what the heck was that?"
Did anyone else start thinking of Three Ninjas?
I've never seen it.
Oh my god, the movie from when we were kids. Well, because the puff of
actually,
smoke.
no, I have. Okay.
Yeah, the
Yes.
puff of smoke. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, that's how they disappear. All
Literally,
the time.
do you carry something in your pocket that
It's
you just
a
like
little-
throw on the ground?
Yeah,
and
it's
it
like a
just,
little ball, and you throw it, and it explodes up and mists everywhere, and then you're able to sneak away.
I want to do that for like parking tickets. Like if somebody's writing me a parking ticket, just like throw a smoke bomb and like drive away. See ya. Like, that could be very useful.
It could. I mean, we should. I don't understand why we don't use it more often.
I would use it every
life.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, my boss is coming around the corner to yell at me. Poof, I'm gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Catch me.
You can't. I'm a ninja. But so the ninja takes the knife, so they don't really have what they think might have killed Jade anymore. And so then a counselor from the Consulate comes and shows up, and she seems shady, but like, I didn't know where to put her, you know?
Shady, but not in the way of she killed her.
Right.
Shady.
Like, I didn't think she murdered her. Like, I just thought she was, like, maybe not actually who she said she was.
Yeah, it was just the way she appeared. I felt like it was out of nowhere because I felt like the consulate call had just happened.
And she like, poof, here I am.
Poof, here I am. And it's like, whoa, who works that fast in government agencies ever?
No one.
No one.
Is the answer.
Even if it is a murder. Still takes some time to get someone, you know. I felt like they would call and be like, we're sending so-and-so over to talk to you. Mm-hmm. So
exactly.
She was a little shady.
She was a little bit shady. And so she goes on and tells them a little bit about Jade. Oh, she hasn't talked to her family. There was a rift when she moved to New York. And that also the signs were like the gods of creation and death, the symbols that were part of the shrine. So I still didn't really, I was like, okay, that gives me nothing. Thank you.
The only thing I took from that was, okay, well, maybe whatever she was doing had to do with her parents.
Yeah.
And, you know, something that they're covering up.
Yeah, and Castle also asks the questions about ninjas, like casually drops it in there, and she says, there's no more ninjas.
Can we just talk about how subtly racist it was?
Oh.
Like, that he kept bringing up ninjas and people kept telling him that they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And
They're like, they're not around. They're mythical things.
Yeah, they're mythical things, and he just keeps bringing it up. And I was like, it's slightly on the racist side, but it's not because it's harmless and it's playful and it's Castle, but it just always was really funny.
Well, because even after this, we find out that she was having kind of like a thing with this guy, Lee, at the ballet, and they had some arguments, and he was a suspect, and they brought him in, and he throws a cup at him to see if he'll catch it, and it's like... And the kid's like, I'm Korean. I'm not a ninja. I'm not Japanese. Don't throw cups at me.
Yeah. He's like, see, racial profiling happens for other people, too. It's not just black people.
And the guy goes like, thanks for profiling me. Like, I appreciate that. But we learned from him that he really didn't do anything, but she was being kind of shady. She would, like, leave the dance studio every night at 8 to call someplace on a payphone. And she, like, was dipping out, and she was quitting her job at the conservatory at the ballet. So there was something going on with her that wasn't quite right.
Yeah, he was like, once I got to know her, I definitely didn't like her anymore because she wasn't as driven as I thought she was. And I was like, oh, wow, that kind of sucks. But
yeah. But we had all these leads, I guess. And I forgot to mention, we met Dean, her boyfriend, and his family, and he really didn't give us anything, like no new information.
Yeah.
And knowing how the episode ended, I had no clue who was going to be, not at the beginning. Like when we first met them, I had no idea that that family was involved at all.
I didn't either. In my head, I started thinking, wouldn't it be cool if the white guy was the ninja? Because that would be like completely thrown off. But I didn't say it because
the boyfriend or the dad?
The dad.
Yeah.
Mostly because I was just like, there's something when we met him that rubbed me the wrong way. But I didn't want to say anything because I was so focused on, you know,
there's
ninjas
so much happening.
There was so much happening that at some point I forgot about it. And then I was like, oh, wait, her boyfriend. Oh, wouldn't that be cool if the dad was actually the ninja? Like, that would be amazing.
Oh, gosh. Well, it was, so that was a pretty good guess.
A nice twist.
But so we find out this kid, Lee, he has an alibi, so he's just not it. So that's not happening. And, you know, he didn't like her anyways. Not enough to kill her. So whatever. But so they go to this place that she was calling Miyagi Tea. Is that how you pronounce it? Miyagi Tea Import Company?
Oh, no,
that's the place she was calling.
Oh, yeah,
Miyagi.
Yeah, okay. I was, like, looking.
And they, like, go in there, and...
It's like a New Age geisha house.
It was interesting.
It was kind of fun.
It was kind of fun, but, like, is that legal?
Yes, because geishas don't have sex with you.
What do? Just kiss you?
They will kiss you and...
Massage you.
I'm talking about everything I learned from reading the book and watching the movie Memoirs of a Geisha.
Okay.
Some of them do sleep with you.
Uh-oh.
Wait, now I'm forgetting how it really works.
Well, it was...
But they're not really prostitutes. They're mostly around for arm candy and entertainment and, you know, for businessmen, you know, here, have some fun. Here's some geishas. But I don't think it was always about the sex. It was mostly about the company that they were keeping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm learning so much right now.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Watch
Castle.
the movie. It's a great movie, Memoirs of a Geisha.
Well, there was so much entertainment. So there's the Pretty Women, there's a karaoke, there's a private rooms. I mean, there was a lot going on here. But before we dive into it, because this is where it gets really, really funny, we're going to dive into something else that's very entertaining and coming to a TV near you very, very soon. It is Chasing Maria.
Tuesdays on Oxygen.
I'm Maria Manounos, and my life can get a little crazy. I host Extra. I'm an actor, producer, dancer, wrestler, and a lot of other things. I live with Kevin, my boyfriend of 15 years. Do you really love me?
I would say that I'm in serious like.
And my parents. Yep, I just said I live with my parents.
You drive me crazy.
You drive me crazy. My parents want us to get married.
You both love each other. Get married.
Kevin and I don't. I am going to get married when I want to get married. I think I want kids. Kevin definitely doesn't want them now.
This is being pushed on to us.
And of course, my parents wanted them yesterday.
This year you gotta have it.
And I have a house full of people counting on me financially. If I take my eye off the ball, everything can fall apart.
It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or wants us to do. It's what we want to do.
Everyone thinks that they know what's best for me, but I'm really the only one. I have got to figure things out.
Chasing Maria Menounos is so new. Every Tuesday at 10, 9 Central, starting March 18, only on Oxygen.
Guys, make sure you tune into that.
I already have my DVR set. I'm ready
Do you?
to sit on my couch tomorrow night and just watch and tweet.
I'm going to have to clear some of my DVR.
Because AfterBuzz is going to be on a lot of the episodes, too. So, I mean, you might see some of your favorite hosts' faces pop up every
Look
now
at
and
Tiona.
then.
She's like, you might see me, is what I mean.
Well, I don't know. You might see Paige.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, I'm just hoping there's hidden cameras in the studio right now that are getting us for the show. Oh, hey, guys.
Oh, hi. Like one day you turn on the TV and we're all just there. It's like, oh, okay. But no, seriously, guys, check that out. And so now we'll dive into what happened in this geisha house, basically. My favorite line in the entire thing was when Ryan says, I'm married. And she goes, oh, a lot of men here are married. He goes, no, I'm really married.
And, like, points at his ring.
He's like, no, I mean it, like, when I say I'm married. Which I like, though, that he's so, like, doesn't even want to play into it at all. Won't even give them an inch.
And I love that this is Castle's world, or his old world.
Oh
kind
my
of.
gosh, you can tell he fits right in.
So,
Woo!
as soon as they're like, oh, if they get any whiff that we're cops, we're, completely boned. Castle's like, all right, guys, tonight we're not cops. Bust out the credit card, give us your best table, and he's right back in the swing of how he was when he was single.
It's so funny because at the beginning he just throws his card at them and he's like, give me a table. And most of the times you think about it, when you get a table, it's like $1,000. It's not cheap money.
No.
And this place looks expensive just by the clientele that is in there. He was ready to throw down some cash, which is insane to me. And I forget that Castle is so rich. Like, you forget watching this show how rich he is.
Yeah, because, you see him go to work every day as a cop, and you're like, oh, wait, yeah, he is rich and famous, and he's a playboy, and he's a socialite, and he is all these things. And so it is kind of funny to see him just, willy-nilly, boom, and then be shocked with the bill afterwards. But.
I know. He was like, what? But so he goes into this back room. First, they're starting to ask questions about Jade, saying that Espo has a crush on her, just trying to get like a little bit of information. And this one woman, I don't think we ever got her name, she takes Castle out back and says, I'll tell you about Jade.
Takes him to a private room.
Private room.
Would you like some private time,
Like-
Mr. Castle?
Fake making out with him and stuff. I would have been like, whoa. Like, just give me a head scratch or something. Like something PG over here.
A head scratch.
I would take a head scratch. Something that's not so sexual. I don't know. But so she's like whispering in his ear, like, Jade kept trying to go after this guy. How do you say his name?
Mr. Saito?
Saito?
Saito.
That's how it was.
Saito.
I had to remember it. Mr. Saito. And she kept wanting to get into his parties, and she really was interested in him. And so the other night, the girl like instantly knew she was dead. She's like, oh my gosh, she's dead, isn't she? I was like, I knew the second she didn't get here that she was dead. So apparently this guy's pretty dangerous. They're all a little scared of him. And there was rumor that she went to this party, was digging through his stuff, and there was a big fight, and she was kicked out.
Yeah.
So it pretty much seems like Mr. Saito killed her.
Yes, that's
Or
what it
Saito.
seems. That's how it seems, but they always try and throw that in your face, and you're like, no, it's just too easy. My other question is this girl. I mean, once the bouncers and everyone kind of figured out, because the other girl went and ratted on them,
God.
there's always one girl who has to go follow the rules.
Ruin the
and
fun.
Ruin the fun.
What's wrong
Espo
with
was
you?
just about to get excited.
Get stuff.
He was just getting in the swing of things. But, once they busted in on her in Castle, I kind of felt like maybe she was going to get in trouble.
I know.
And I wanted Castle to be like, wait, we have to go back and,
save her,
protect her. But
yeah,
they were the ones who needed saving after
they were the ones. So after we're getting this information, that girl saw one of their badges and she tattles. But I loved how Ryan was up there like singing, doing karaoke. He's like, okay, this is fun. Like he found his place in the house where he fit in.
Yes.
And it was in karaoke.
Karaoke. You gotta love that karaoke. It brings people together.
The karaoke does things to people. If you haven't done it, you should do it. Karaoke is something you have to do.
You have to try it at least once.
At least once. Like, don't be afraid. And if you need it, do some sake like they did.
Sake makes everything better.
Actually, I don't think I've ever had sake, but I can only imagine from the way everybody else was acting on that karaoke dance floor. But so then they leave. They get basically thrown out, manhandled. Oh. Which I would be concerned, though, that those bouncers just, like, picked up cops and threw them out.
Yeah. Because then that's where what you were saying, is it legal, kind of comes into my head. If what you're doing is legal, then why are you tossing the cops out?
Yeah, I don't understand.
If you don't want to look suspicious of something, then maybe treat the cops really nice and be like, oh,
right.
What else do you need from us? Once you start kicking cops out, though, that makes you look guilty.
That's what I was thinking.
Running.
But that's why I was so confused. It's like they're cops, but you're kicking them out because they're cops. But if you're not doing anything illegal, it didn't make any sense to me.
What if they were off-duty cops? Like,
right.
Cops are allowed to have a free life.
They can't have fun?
They're allowed to have fun, too.
Yeah, I don't understand. But so they're kicked out, not very roughly. I mean, they were like just pushed out the door, and then Castle threw his little hissy. But as they're walking away, he's like, he didn't call Beckett like he was supposed to.
Yeah.
Which I feel for her, because if your boyfriend says he's going to do something and he does not do it, that's like the meanest thing ever.
Yeah, well,
I don't care what it is.
When the alarm went off, he was kind of in the middle of, getting a break in the case, and then he got kicked out, and he had to spend $6,000, and then a ninja threw a ninja star into his phone when he was picking it up to call her.
I know, but he didn't even call her till they got back to the precinct. Like, do it in the car.
Yeah,
there's a phone in the car.
He could have borrowed someone's phone to call her.
But that's not the way Castle rolls, apparently. But it is true. His phone got hijacked by a ninja star. That was insane. I'm blown away, because I really wonder, like, can people do that? Like, just get
ninja stars?
like, right into my phone and, like, not kill me?
If they're that good, I think skilled knife throwers. Think of the knife throwers you see, like, on...
Girl, I've never seen a knife
I've never seen it in person, but I've seen them. I watch a lot of movies.
Okay.
And so, they have the people who throw knives for, like, a living, and they'll get really close to your face. And, I mean, it's in the book Divergent,
Yeah, I was going to say the Divergent commercials clips her ear. And
yeah,
she's like,
when you're reading it, you hear all about it. Skilled knife throwers, you have to stay focused and know what you're doing, but I think it's possible.
Yeah, because the way these people, so then it's like this whole thing, they're so skilled, but then is it like there's like one good one and one bad one? Like, there was two ninjas.
So the one was like, do not ever come back, don't ask any more questions or you'll be killed. I think he was the bad guy, and then, the one ninja came in to kind of save them.
And then ran off.
Because, you can't get caught.
But the way they ran off, like which we know it was her, like just like walked behind a pole and she disappeared.
Yeah, that was really weird.
The thing with Castle is, like, they lead you to believe these things can and did happen. But I want to know how she got away. Like, I want to know.
There was no smoke that time, so
nothing.
I'm very confused too. Unless she has extremely, like, springs for legs
and spidey,
and just jumped up and grabbed onto something and made her way out.
Like, how'd she do that?
I don't know how she escaped. And even Ryan Espo and Castle were confused too. Like, wait, we just had him cornered. Like, how did that happen? And
I love when they get back to the precinct and they're telling Gates all about this. She looks so frustrated. She's like, so there was two ninjas. Now there's two ninjas. What the hell?
I love Gates because Castle comes in with these crazy things all the time, and she's just kind of like, whatever. And then the ninjas come up, and they already don't really believe him when it's just him who saw the ninjas. So then you have two of your best detectives coming in talking about how there's two ninjas now.
How frustrating.
How frustrating is that as, the captain?
And they're like, and they just disappeared in thin air. It's like, okay, please do your job.
So one stole evidence from you and one saved your life. One almost killed you and one saved your life. what am I supposed to believe here?
I know, exactly. And so they dive into it. So they take into account, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Michio?
Michio Saito. Michio Saito. He's a financier. He's basically flagged in organized crime. That's whose party it was. And they find this out because they know he had a party the night before, so they find out where the cake was from. And it was for his, like, 40th birthday party. It can't be that easy. It's like, oh, let's call all of the catering companies in all of New York City.
Because also, what if, just because he's on the Upper East Side, what if there's a restaurant he loves on, the Upper West Side?
And they delivered.
And they delivered it, or, Lower Manhattan, and, he had it brought up. I just don't feel like it's always as easy to find it through this way as they make it seem.
No, it isn't. But I liked the way things unfolded.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny. They're just standing there. And Castle's the one who's like, well, if he had a party. And she's like, get on it. So at least he was helpful. I mean, if anything, Castle was the one who got a lot done this episode.
And what's to say that he doesn't have a private cook who cooked everything for the party, so he didn't need a caterer?
So many logistics that you have to consider.
You got to think about all these things.
So many things. And so they visit him, and he denies it all. And so that's a dead end. And then he says, don't come back unless you have a warrant. So they go back, and then they find out that the counselor, Amaya Tagami, isn't, in fact, Amaya Tagami. And we learn more about Jade. So we find out kind of about who she was. So she was an orphan. They don't really know anything about her. They don't even know if Jade's her real name. But they find her, like, scar.
Yeah.
That was a brutal scar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, from an explosion of some kind, but she was sewn up by somebody in the U.S. military. So it was very distinct. And they led it to Okinawa and the Ozu family. And apparently her entire family was killed, quote unquote. We thought they weren't all killed. They were supposedly all stabbed, and then the house was exploded. But she escaped, and she went to an orphanage. And now it really seems like a story of revenge. Like, she's coming back to avenge her family.
Yeah, this is when it got really interesting, and I kind of wish that we could have gone more with it.
I would have loved to learn more about that.
Yeah, I would have loved to learn more about that whole thing. And then I got sad, too, because I'm like, okay, you survived the knife stabbing and a explosion in your house.
And now you died from this.
And then you died, right before you were able to get your revenge. Like, I wanted her to get that and be alive for it.
I know. It's so sad because I feel like we go into these episodes and we're just trying to guess the killer, and we're loving the banter between everybody, and it's fun and games because this episode was kind of funny. But then you really think about these characters and you're like, what about the dead girl? I mean, like, what about Jade? I feel very bad for her. And her whole entire life has been dedicated to this. And I wonder if she was like, if I'm a ballerina, I will make it to New York.
Yeah. When did she start training for the ballet? Because I feel like she found out, we learned later on that she found out about a year ago she recognized the voice, which brought her to New York. So a year ago wasn't that long ago. So was she training for ballet her whole life and just used that as her way in? Or was the ballet thing just something that she picked up so that she could come here? Because if she's a skilled fighter, if she's good at martial arts and like a ninja, like her sister, then we know that ninjas and ballet dancers are very similar. We learned that tonight in the episode. So
yeah, I don't know. So before we even get into that, I guess we found her sister in her lair. We go back to the lair. Somebody saw her go there, and she's a cop who's really just Jade's sister and who's trying to save Jade, and she was a little too late and said that Jade really could never get over what happened to their family. And that's where we get the information about the voice on TV. So apparently a man came to their house the day that their house was basically exploded.
So an American businessman.
An American businessman, and then Jade just heard him on a commercial and saw him on a commercial and pursued it. Which blows my mind. Like, what are the odds that 12 years later you hear this guy's voice in a commercial and you remember? I'm sure you remember the details of that day, but the fact that you even come across that is insane.
And it triggers something in you, and you have to just go for it.
I wonder if her whole plan was to find the green dragon, or if the day she heard that she was like, I have to do something because this was my family.
I wonder which one came first.
Yeah, because her sister makes it seem, she says, she couldn't let it go. She couldn't let it go. I tried to put it behind me. But is it she couldn't let it go now that she knew those people were still out there, and that she knew where they were, or was this her whole life dedicated to it?
Yeah.
That's what I don't know.
That's what I don't know either.
But I really like that her sister is so, I don't know.
Into it.
Yeah, now she's at the point where she's doing what she can to save her sister or to avenge her sister. And What she didn't want her sister to do, now she's now doing.
Exactly.
For her sister.
She has to finish off where her sister was so close that, you know, at this point she won't get closure unless she finishes the job for her sister.
Which is like devastating to me. It makes me really, really sad.
It makes me really sad too. And I also kind of want to know if Jade really did like that poor guy.
Oh, Dean.
Because Dean loved her so hard.
I know he really did. And when we go to their house and we find out that it was Randall Bedford, who was the American businessman that we were talking about, and it's Dean's father, I was blown away. I'm always blown away. I never know who it is. But Dean is so genuinely upset and even hurt by the fact that he thinks Jade only dated him for his father. Like, I can't even fathom if the girl I loved passed away and then I found out she was just using me
to get to my father.
Yeah, and that my father was also an awful human being.
That's a lot of blows to take in one afternoon.
Do you think his mom knew? Because she wasn't really there for that
She wasn't there for the second part of it. She was there in the beginning, and then she kind of wasn't there anymore.
It was strange.
But I feel like she didn't know because she's, you know, New York socialite who's, you know, contributor to the ballet, and her husband's a great businessman,
right?
So she doesn't really ask questions,
right? Well, I honestly still didn't think it was Randall because I thought that would be too easy. And he says, you know, I was an engineer, he was a contractor. He wanted to pull out because he found out they were part of the mob, basically, and you can't get out. And so I went there to warn them. So really, he went there to kill them. Was he the one who killed them?
Yeah,
but he's the Green Dragon.
He's the Green Dragon. So I think he did go over there to save his cover.
And then killed them.
As a warning. And then, because we never hear that, you know, they said the white businessman came over earlier that day. And then later on this happened.
But I'm still wondering, was Mr. Saito part of what happened to them? Like, because he also left the country right when that happened.
I think he was. I think he was the...
Like he's the puppet master?
Yeah, he's the puppet master, you know, and you have your contract killer... basically, to do all the dirty work to keep your hands clean from the stuff. And so, but we're led to believe that Mr. Saito, again, is the killer. They get a warrant. They go in there to basically arrest him, and then he's killed by a ninja. Who used a gun? Ninjas don't use guns, guys. With a silencer, too. Well, I guess silencers are very ninja-like. Okay, I take that back. But then he's, like, holding two guns up to... He got Becketts out of her hand real quick, like. And he's threatening them, and he said something like... he said that... I killed the green... He said, oh, so you're the Green Dragon. He said, no, you just killed the Green Dragon. At least that's what it will say in the newspapers tomorrow. Right. And then you're found dead, yeah. So he wasn't the Green Dragon. I mean, he wasn't a great guy. We know he was not a great guy, Mr. Saito. But the way he died, I was like, oh, no. Oh, gosh. What's happening? But then another ninja comes again. It's like every time there's like a ninja, they multiply. Like they're everywhere. This whole episode. That's how ninjas work. Oh, you know, so stealthy. They appear out of nowhere. Where do you get the outfit? Like in this day and age, where do you get those stars and stuff? Like, I feel like you have to have a license to carry to have one of those. I mean, we found out that Jade had the knife, had a replica made of the one that killed her parents. So clearly you can do that. And my brother did go to Japan and brought my other brother home some ninja stars. Don't fly with those in a carry-on bag, guys. Yeah, I was going to say, did he check them? He had to check them, yeah. Yeah, don't pull an Amanda Seyfried. And they're slightly dulled. Okay. Because they're the souvenir kind, but I'm sure that, you know, there are real ones out there too. That's terrifying to me. Yeah. I don't need any of that. I mean, I'm sure if you go to a back alley somewhere in some guy's trunk, you know, I could find one. You can buy them off of someone. When you live in the big city, you can find anything. You can get anything you want. Especially in New York. I'm sure they had an alleyway away. Exactly. A Louis Vuitton bag or one of those guys walking down the street corner with a big trench coat. It's like, what you want? Ninja stars here, gold watches here. What? Which one? Which one? Oh gosh. I feel like teenage boys are probably like the ninja star. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of obsessed with it right now. I kind of want to go get some and practice. Yeah, I won't throw them at you. Please, yeah. You can keep those at home. You can get like a wall made of like dart boards material and just chuck it at that. Oh. The more you know. Yeah. Well, hey. But so we find out while these guys are wrestling that it was in fact Randall who was the green monster. And so Green Dragon, we take him in. The sister, she gets off.
you know, they're not going to press charges, which I think is nice.
Yeah. They're like, we're not going to press charges, but you do have to leave our country.
You're like, you still got to go back to Japan, but we'll pretend you didn't try and like screw us over royally and impersonate a police officer. So, but I liked the little closure there for her and kind of avenging her sister and they gave her the knife back now that it's not evidence. And so I really liked that. And I just felt for her sister because I feel like, yeah, she avenged her family, but now she has no family.
Yeah.
Like, nobody.
That's how I felt, too. It's like, this is why I really wish that Jade had survived or was in a coma or something, you know, during this whole period. Yeah. And then that way, you know, when she got back, you know, her sister finished the job and she's alive. So now, hey, we can go move on with our lives together and we still have each other.
Right. So I would have loved to see more of them as sisters or just even get like flashbacks. I know we don't really do that, but like there's some characters on these shows where you're like, oh, I just wish I knew more about you.
Yeah. Oh, couldn't you have like at least 2 episodes about this person?
But so we didn't get any of that, but we did get more insight into Castle and Beckett's life through this episode. After she had the dinner with her friend, she was bummed out because the girl was so boring and all she did was complain about her husband. And Kate, who already we know has a little bit of cold feet, is nervous that they're going to become a boring married couple, and she's like terrified of that happening.
My thought was, look, Kate, it sounds like your friend married a very boring guy and or someone that she didn't actually love.
Like the way she talked about it, like she found this rich man on a yoga retreat and got married.
Yeah, it sounds like she married for money and you're marrying for love, so I think you're going to be okay, Kate.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say to her.
Yeah, and Castle basically says, well, just to make her feel better, we'll put it in our vows. We'll never get boring. We're always going to be like an exciting couple. And I like that because I feel like in a long-term relationship, it gets very easy to just like settle into a routine and, like she said, have sex on national holidays. I mean, I hope you're doing it more than that, people, but if you're not,
then it's... And the other thing is that, you know, they do work together a lot and, you know, being police officers, Castle, I'm putting quotation marks over that.
A writer.
You know, they do share a lot of adventures together. So I don't think that they'll ever really have those boring moments. If anything, they'll repeat the same stories from the glory days a lot. But, you know, depending on your audience, that can be great and amazing.
Right. And I even liked how this episode we heard Kate talk about, oh, well, Castle's at home writing down that ninja fight you guys had for his book. Because I feel like so often we forget that is his career. That's what he does. So he is still working on things.
And on that topic, I wrote this down in my notes when they went to the lair the first time.
Yes.
He is a writer, not a police officer.
No.
Beckett, can you please stop going to locations without real backup?
Yeah, Castle doesn't count.
Castle doesn't count. She goes to all these places by herself like Castle is her real partner, and that really bugs me because I'm like, you're a New York City police detective. You're not going in there with someone who can't back you up with an actual gun.
No, he doesn't even have a gun.
Yeah, he doesn't have a gun. And, you know, you leave him there, stay here, be quiet, I'm going to go check it out with the gun, and he gets attacked. But if you had a partner who you had left there or someone to really cover your back, you wouldn't get in all these situations.
But I love how in that moment, though, Castle's like, oh, it was a ninja. Like, he's so excited. He doesn't even care. A ninja just, like, stole a knife out of his hands without, like, even being there for more than 3 seconds. He's just too excited about it.
He's way too excited.
So I loved that. But this episode was good. I really enjoyed this episode, and it was a good way to come back after a week break from the show.
Yeah, which I'm glad that we don't have another week off. We are back with a new episode next week.
Thank goodness.
Let's keep this up, Castle, because these 1 week on, 1 week off thing, it's not working for my life.
Too much for us. We need consistency here. But we will jump into predictions now. I mean, we didn't get too much
and
for
now,
next week.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Trying to find this tweet from earlier, but
I don't have any serious predictions. I really liked seeing Esposito and Ryan and Castle working together, so I'd love to see more of that moving forward, like just the guys or something like that. And in that sense, I would love a bachelor and bachelorette party.
Yes.
That's my prediction. I think it's coming down the line. So I would really love to see that happen. And we got, like, you know, we've been getting a little bit of marriage every week, but this was more like cold feet marriage. I still want to see, like, legitimate planning for a wedding.
Yes.
Real planning. I want to see a cake. I want to see a venue. I want to see stuff. I know that's not important to like the actual, murders and things, but like I'm excited about it.
That is very exciting.
I've waited a long time for this wedding to go down.
I'm excited to see the wedding stuff. I would have loved to see Kate actually out with her friend Carly tonight.
I know.
Because it was the first time in a while where we actually get to, Kate leaves in the middle of a case to go do something personal. You know, they usually do the personal stuff at the very beginning, and then they wrap it up in some sort of connection. But, you know, she left in the middle of a case to go have dinner with a friend, and we didn't get to see that. And I want to see a little bit more of Kate's personal side,
her life,
minus
her friends.
Castle, you know, her friends, because right now it looks like she's one of those girls who just goes to work and goes home to her fiance and does nothing else.
It's nice to know she has friends, but we'd like to see the friends.
Yeah, I mean, hearing that she wasn't going somewhere and she was going somewhere and it wasn't with Lainey, I was like, whoa, what?
More friends.
You have other friends?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So I would like to see a little bit more of Kate letting loose and going out for a girls' night.
I know.
Bachelorette party is perfect place for that.
As the seasons progress, I want more and more of their personal lives. I know that's asking a lot, but it's what I want.
But, you know, there's a point in every show where, especially cop dramas, where, you know, the cases kind of run its course and it's great, but then, you know, as the seasons progress, you get more and more of like the personal life, and that's what the audience is, you know, kind of rooting for, because that's what we know and love now, and we want to know what's happening with them outside of there.
Exactly.
Sorry. And sorry.
Did you find your tweet?
Yeah, I found my tweet. Because it's just a little bit of news. John Huertas.
Yes.
It's official. He tweeted, it's official. That him and Seamus Dever did a short film, and it's going to debut at Tribeca Film Festival this year. So if you're in New York or want to fly out to New York for that,
or want to pay for it,
then make sure you check that out. I thought that was pretty cool that they, you know, work together every day and then, you know, also shot a short film.
They say all the time that they're actually very good friends, all of the cast outside of the show. So it's nice to see that even when they don't have to work together, they choose to work together.
And getting into Tribeca, that's a pretty big deal. So
I know. Can you imagine though the day Castle ends? Like, it's one of those shows where it's like you've been together for so long every day. Like, what do you do without each other? I don't even want to know because the show's not ending.
They have fondue parties every night with each other.
Fondue.
That's how I imagine them spending their time.
We should bring fondue here.
Let's do it.
In honor of what we think they're doing. But guys, keep the conversation going on Twitter and iTunes and YouTube. Comment, rate, tell a friend. Let us know what you're thinking throughout the week while we wait for our new episode. You can also tweet at AfterBuzz TV, and you can tweet me and Instagram me at Paige Sullivan.
And you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at the Tiona Hobson.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Manounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.